Not long ago, not too far from here, just in the Shenandoah Hills, there lived a man named James Martin. James lived alone in a cabin up in the hills there, and well, he lived there year round, and so he ate and survived by farming a little on the small plot of land he had and by hunting whatever game he could find in the forest there. And he was as particular as you can be when you live off the land, but mostly he liked hunting things like deer and whatnot. But one year a winter came cold and fast and early, so that his vegetables that were still growing died on the vine, and well, the animals took shelter sooner than he was ready for, so he didn't have much saved up for the winter. And he began hunting anything he could, not worrying about what kind of creature it was. When he found himself hungry one night, getting home from hunting with no food in his belly, he stopped off at the wood pile to chop some wood and bring it in to make a fire, so at least he'd be warm that night. And he saw a creature skittering across the wood and running towards underneath the wood pile. It was about the size of a fox. It was furry and had long nails and big sharp teeth. It was unlike anything he'd ever seen before, sort of a cross between a mountain lion and a rat. And he would normally leave such a creature alone, but he was so hungry, and well, he had his axe handy, and so before the creature could run under the woodpile, he took a swing and he chopped through its tail. He tried to get the rest of the animal, but he was too slow, so he made do with what he had, and he took that tail inside and he heated up some water, and he skinned the tail and he threw it in the pot and he cooked it up with a few onions and some other things he had on hand. And that night he didn't eat well, but he ate well for how he'd been eating, and he filled his tummy up with that tail. And then he went to sleep, and he slept deep and well until somewhere towards the middle of the night, when a sound woke him up, a sound of scratching, scrabbling at his door, and then he heard a voice say, "TailyPo, TailyPo, give me back my TailyPo." He wasn't normally a man to get scared, but that voice scared him. So he went towards the door and he opened it slowly and he looked outside, but he didn't see anything. So just in case, he stepped off the front porch, went out to the wood pile and grabbed his axe to bring inside. He went back inside, he closed the door, and nothing else to do, so he got back into bed. And a few minutes later, he heard a scrabbling sound again, and it sounded closer this time, and so did the voice, and the voice sounded almost like it was coming from inside the cabin. It said, "TailyPo, TailyPo, give me back my TailyPo." He lit his lantern. He grabbed the axe. He looked all over the cabin. It wasn't a very big cabin, so it was easy to look all over, and he didn't see anything. He was really scared now, but there wasn't anything else to do, so he went back to bed. And a few minutes later, he heard the sound again, closer, almost like it was at the foot of his bed. And then he heard the voice closer still. TailyPo, TailyPo, give me back my TailyPo. He was very, very scared, but he had to do something. So he opened his eyes, and when he did, the creature was right there! It was hideous, and it was large, and it had long, long nails, and it was right in his face. He got so scared. He pooped out the TailyPo. All in one long, big piece of tail. It just came right out of him, and then he jumped out of bed, and the creature kind of stumbled off of him, and they both sat there looking at, well, what was on the bed now, and then the creature kind of shrugged his shoulders and grabbed up his dirty tail, even though it was mostly a skeleton tail at this point, and he stuck it back on his butt, and then he ran over to the door, and he looked back at James Martin, and he said, "Next time, you won't be so lucky." And then he ran out into the woods, and James Martin never did hunt anything ever again.